Tony D and Little Joan is... I don't know where she is. Where'd you go, Little Joan? Oh, here you are. Here you are. Put you in the background of the shot, okay? Here you go. Put your blanket on. Nice, comfy. Little Joan, what am I going to do with you? Anyhow, this is a Screenwriter's Rant on The Outsiders, which has a huge problem in its name. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 8. Check it out at Amazon. Kindle Unlimited is free. So, the premise of this movie isn't a bad one. Although it has some problems. So the premise of the movie is these two kids are like one of the two only black kids in town, and the guy character, he just moved to town. He finds the whole thing suspicious. The girl, she doesn't care. Now, southern towns typically, yeah, I realized there was racism in southern towns. There's also a lot of black people that live down south, in case you don't know it. So it's weird that it seems to be a very exclusive white town. And then I'm watching the trailer thinking, is this like another Jordan Peele kind of deal or whatever? But then it goes sideways. It turns into, you'll see here, right? He's going to help this girl, and suddenly aliens show up. Suddenly aliens show up to kidnap his girlfriend. He gets pushed off the dock, and she disappears. So they blame him for her disappearance, which has a certain logic to it, right? I mean, they don't know the alien. You assume they don't know the aliens are there, so that makes sense. And but it's the prejudice that is being sold here. Like, oh, he's the only black kid, and now we're going to pick on him. And then it turns out that it's aliens, and a bunch of people have disappeared over the years. And the question is who's making them disappear? Does the town know the secret? Why is his mother white? Not sure. Is he adopted, or she was married to a guy who had another kid and then maybe he died? I don't know. So anyway, they end up blaming him for the disappearance. Then they end up chasing him, and it all goes wrong. And that's about all I get. But it's kind of an okay premise. But the problem is the title. Outsiders is the name of several different movies, including a 2002 movie that has nothing to do with this. So finding it on the IMDb, and I actually looked it up this time, was impossible. I couldn't find it. Maybe it has another title. I don't know. But I managed to find it on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, the audience is giving it a high score. So the audience liked it. There are no featured audience reviews, but apparently 100% of the audience liked it so far. Now, I don't know who saw this. It's a short movie, hour and 22. It's a good runtime, I think. And but the critics apparently hate it, which leads me to believe, because they only gave it 14%. Now, it's possible they're correct, but it's also possible they are, they don't know what they're talking about, as per usual. Now, it's written by Tucker Morgan and directed by Delmar Washington, I think. Yeah. Can't read the credits because of this ridiculous YouTube thing. I can't get to it. Let's see. And that's why I went to the IMDb to see the credits, and they don't have them here either, really. Yeah, Delmar Washington, producers Eric Fleischman and Maurice Fada from Vertical Entertainment. It's a short trailer. It's a short movie. It's not a bad premise in my view, because your protagonist is a kid. He's still in high school. He doesn't have any power. He just moved to this town. On top of that, he feels marginalized because, he's one of two black kids in the entire town. And so he's feeling like maybe, and you can feel that way whether it's true or not. I do think, however, there is some cartoony racism going on in this movie that looks a little ham-fisted. But that being said, there doesn't look like much of it. And the aliens angle, well, obviously the aliens aren't racist, so there's something going on here. I found it intriguing, so maybe it's good. hard to tell from this trailer. I like the music, I like the sound effect, and I kind of like the premise. The lead, he seems pretty good. He seems solid, curious, thoughtful, looks like a real kid, who could be in high school. A lot of times they'll cast an actor, he's really like 22, but he's supposed to look like a kid, but he kind of doesn't. He looks like a kid. He looks like a senior in high school maybe. This is the guy who initially, I'll say, I'm not sure who that is. He looks a little familiar. He's the guy who knows about the aliens, but nobody believes him. So at first when he comes to the town, he sees them. The kid sees him and figures, oh, it's another racist a-hole trying to get me, like one of these cops. And the cops are all around him. His girlfriend's cute, and she she seemed to really like him and seemed to like just laugh in the face of all the things he was seeing in the town. So the question is this movie bad? Do the critics hate it because it's a bad movie, or do they hate it because maybe they don't treat this like the woke idiots normally treat a movie? Maybe. I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of leaning towards seeing it. If it's a short movie, I like that, because a short movie will be nice and tight. There's not gonna be a lot of fat here. Hopefully, I like the pacing of the trailer. Seems to be solid. So I think this could be good. Now, it might suck, but again, the racist white kids who pull him over and beat him up, it looks a little contrived, but it could work under the right circumstances, because the girl has disappeared, and since aliens did it, they could blame him. He's like the last person to see her. They all blame him. Maybe they're friends with the girl, and they're like, hey, we're gonna beat you up because you're a jerk or whatever. So first act, the kid comes to town. He doesn't fit in. He doesn't like the town. He feels like, oh, maybe they're a little racist. Then he meets this beautiful girl, and she likes him immediately, and it's like, you feel weird, we're like the only two black kids in town, and she's like, oh, you're paranoid. She's very much a free spirit, happy, not, I think in a woke movie she would immediately be, yeah yeah, they all are a bunch of racists, but no, she says, oh, you're just exaggerating. And then they go out and they're spending time together, and they're out on the dock, and then blam, the aliens kidnap her, and then you've got a real story on your hands. So second act, they blame him. He's trying to tell them it's aliens, or he didn't really know what it is, but he eventually comes to that conclusion, and then he eventually runs into the guy who knows it's aliens. He's been tracking all this, and at first he pegs him as another white guy in town who doesn't like him, but really he's the paranoid guy. He's the conspiracy nut guy. So they team up together, and they're trying to figure out what the hell this is, or what the aliens are going to do. Maybe the town... I'm getting the sense some of the townspeople already know, maybe, or suspect, but they're covering it up. And then, third act, I don't know. So it can go in a lot of directions. Third act, maybe they just kidnap him, and he goes off, and maybe you assume he goes with his girlfriend, and that's the end of the movie. Who knows? Could be a lot of things. Maybe she comes back and it's all messed up, and I don't know. It doesn't say it's a horror movie. It says it's a sci-fi movie on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, thriller, mystery thriller, and sci-fi. So it's probably not got a downer ending. I'm going to guess the ending is he saves her from the ship, and then the ship is destroyed somehow. Something like that. Or a more exciting ending would be that they never find her. Right? He goes through all this hubbub, and then in the end, like, the aliens just kidnap somebody else, and then that's it. He can't do anything. That could be an exciting ending. The audience seems to love it, but it's 50 ratings. Fewer than 50 ratings. Oh, okay. So maybe that's one rating. Who knows? 7 reviewers seem to hate it. So, The synopsis says, when high school student Jalen Brown finds himself under suspicion after his classmate disappears during a party, prejudice quickly begins to boil to the surface in a small southern town as all fingers point towards him. Working against the clock to clear his own name, he begins to unravel a massive web of secrets that all point to otherworldly forces at play. So maybe one of the aliens is one of the cops? I don't know. I find it intriguing. I might see this movie. But I don't know how you're going to find it, quite frankly, because Outsiders is a terrible name. I mean, it's not a terrible name. The problem is it's been used a bunch of times recently. So you got a recent movie called The Outsiders. You got The Outsiders from 1983, which is a pretty famous movie. That's a pretty famous movie. And then I think there's one other movie. Should have called it something else. Something Outsiders, like, Far Outsiders or Outsiders from Afar. Anything else other than just the word Outsiders. And I get why you're doing it. You're doing it in the minimalist thing. You're trying to get a, one word on the movie poster. I get that. But maybe pick a different name. Doesn't quite work. I mean, I'd have to see the movie to really name it. I'm big on names. I take a long time to come up with a name of something. But man, Outsiders, man, it's too broad. It's been used too many times. This is my major criticism of this movie. You've got the wrong name. I don't know what else you would call it. I'd have to think about it. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for more bass takes. We also did a live stream today. Today was the ghost stream. Where the hell was everybody? But that's okay. It's a good stream. I talked about the Jersey Devil, and I talked about Ghost in South Jersey. It was a Piney podcast live stream, essentially. So check that out, and we'll see you in the next one.